What is up, everybody? Welcome back. I hope everybody is having a good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. We're back again, another short break, but here we are to talk about NFL Week 12 recap. We've got some news through the Frank Reich firing. We've got a lot of interesting matchups, some quarterback benching. We're starting to see the draft play out. So there's a lot of stuff going on as we get this late in the season. The fight for the 1 seed and the first overall pick is well on our way. As always, I'm Sam Fortney. I'm here with Ryan Przlomski. Let's just get straight into this, Ryan, because of course the biggest news around the league in the past week or so was the firing of Frank Reich in Carolina. He's 1-10 this year. This is the second year in a row that a Carolina coach has been fired. Last year, of course, with Matt Rule. Now you got Frank Reich. David Tepper, of course, an increasingly impatient owner in his journey for winning. And then, Ryan, I just have to ask you two things, really. What do you think went wrong for Carolina with Frank Reich, and what's the next step? Where do you go from here? You got Bryce Young, who's your first overall pick. You gave up so much to get him. Where do you look to get a coach that can kind of make the most of Bryce Young and the Panthers roster?
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily think it was anything on Frank Reich. It was, he's a seasoned vet coach. He's not a Nathaniel Hackett or the guy in LA that everyone hates, Staley.
Staley, yeah.
They're just, I don't know how they have a job. But this guy, he's been in the league. I'm not saying he's, the best, but
but he's certainly a capable
he's a
head
bad
coach.
coach.
He's proven that he can win games.
Yeah, he has respect around the league.
Yeah.
And like I remember when Sirianni beat the Colts and he was screaming at the crowd, "This is for Frank,"
Yeah, yeah.
I hate that guy though.
I know he's really unlikable.
He's like if McDaniel was like the devil. He's literally the polar opposite of Mike McDaniel. But I don't think this is on him. I mean, look at the roster. It's your
right.
best offensive
they've
weapon
really
is
nothing.
Adam Thielen.
Yeah, you traded DJ Moore to go get your franchise quarterback and then deprived him of weapons in the process. So it's like you give him no run game. You sign a veteran Miles Sanders from Philly, who's not really an explosive back. You have Chuba Hubbard, who's young and he's okay. He's serviceable, but he's not by any means someone leading rusher. It's like you surround him with Adam Thielen, who looked good on fantasy for about 4 weeks, but he's he's a dinosaur in this league.
And also, he's about to retire. He's not when he was in Minnesota with Diggs for all those years.
Right. You got Jonathan Mingo, who's the fourth string receiver on any other team. You're putting these guys around him that aren't setting him up to succeed. I mean, the guy's got no semblance of an offensive line.
It really reminds me of Tua's freshman year when we had a game where we rolled out Malcolm Perry, we rolled out the guy we drafted from Navy, Lynn Bowden, and Myles Gaskin, and that was
those are two Alabama quarterbacks who were drafted extremely high and then not put in a situation to win. You had defensive head coaches who aren't helping young QBs. You can't name me a single defensive young coach other than DeMeco Ryans. That's the only head coach you can name that is serving his young QB. And
very well.
Right, very well. But every other defensive QB defensive coach does not put these young quarterbacks in a chance to win. I mean, you're taking a guy and Bryce Young didn't exactly have the Alabama weapons that the quarterbacks of the past have had, but that's still has top tier college football weapons, trading away the capital that you're going to use to help him, and then signing old veteran. I mean, you're just not putting him in a situation where he's going to bloom.
And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say Justin Fields has been great, but if you watched even last night, who did Justin Fields throw the ball to more than anyone?
DJ Moore.
And how many catches he had? He had, I
hate to cut you off, but it's like the Bears are, we'll talk about them later when we talk about draft stuff and everything, but it's like the Bears have made the effort to build around Justin Fields. You traded out of the one spot. You've gotten picks to build an O-line. You've given him weapons.
And they have the most cap space in the league.
Right. You've traded for Montez Sweat. You've put pieces around Justin Fields to put him in a position to win. You've gotten him new coaches. They've done everything for Justin Fields, and it feels like Carolina is doing the exact opposite.
Yeah, and for me, something I found a little distasteful was what the owner said in that meeting today, where he basically said the plan was to take Stroud.
But, and it seemed like the quarterback coach who also just got fired today, Josh McCown, it seems like he wanted CJ Stroud to go back.
Player.
Yeah, he's a backup for a while.
He was a Buck, I think.
I think so. Yeah, he was quite a few places.
Yeah,
and even he was at like the combine and stuff, saying, "Hey, CJ Stroud, when you get your house in
Frank
Charlotte."
Reich wanted Stroud, and he was very
everybody
vocal
in that building. It seemed like wanted Stroud except David Tepper. McCall was telling Stroud, like, we'll have to play when you get to Charlotte and stuff like that. So, I mean, really, from before he was even drafted, they're putting this kid in a position to fail.
It honestly gives me Flores Tua vibes.
It does, yeah, 100%. And but it's like, so in that sense, maybe it ends up being good long run that Reich was fired. I mean, it looks bad now, but if the coach didn't want him, his quarterback coach didn't want him, if they
Yeah,
can
but
bring in the
this
right
team is
people, maybe
screwed
it
for
benefits
the
him.
near future, Sam. Like,
Yeah, no, you don't have a draft pick in an absolutely loaded draft class where you could get.
they would be getting Marvin Harrison almost guaranteed with that pick.
And you know what? Even if you didn't get Marvin Harrison Jr., right? Trade out of the pick, get a ton of assets to build around, Bryce
Yeah,
Young, because
because
you need so
someone's
many
gonna
things.
want
Because
Caleb or
think about it,
Bo Nix.
if you didn't trade that first pick around, like you'd presumably have like DJ Moore still. So maybe you don't even need Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe you take Joe Alt from Notre Dame. Maybe you just get a bunch of picks and draft a bunch of role players to fill your needs. You can find a Rome, a Donze, a
Yeah,
Keon Coleman late in the later rounds to give him another weapon. I mean, it's just
later first. Yeah.
right, yeah. And you gave up so much to get this guy. You don't have much left to put around him, and it puts the Panthers in a really bad
But
spot.
Sam, even with if they had DJ Moore, if you're still taking, I'd argue that DJ Moore and either Keon Coleman, Roma Dunze, or Marvin Harrison Jr. That'd be a top 5 duo in the league.
Yeah, probably. I'm just saying.
And
I
for
wouldn't
someone like,
take Marvin Harrison Jr. because I would just trade the pick so I can get
yeah,
more to build
no,
around.
I agree.
Right, and
But
then you take like a Rome later in the round.
I mean, for someone like Bryce Young, who obviously was surrounded by tons of talent in Alabama, look at Tua without talent. Look at Tua with talent. Look
It's
at
the same. Look at
look
every
at Mac
quarterback without
Jones in
talent.
college. Look at
Mhm.
Mac Jones currently. The
Every
Patriots gave
quarterback.
up on Jacoby Myers for Juju, and look
Yeah,
at Jacoby Myers right now. He's
he's
going
balling.
off. He might be better than Devontae Adams right now. I'd
That's.
make that argument. I'd make that argument.
I mean, I think it's just like I think it's kind of just the quarterback has found comfort in Myers, and Devontae Adams actually has come on pretty strong in these last couple of weeks. We know what
He's
Devontae
woken
is.
up a
I
little
think
bit.
it's the benefit of every team's best DB is going to be on Devontae. It's just this guy's
Yeah,
open. Let me get him the ball.
but that's why you need two.
You're right. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know,
AJ
but
Brown and Devontae Smith. Like Smitty was doing all the work in that win against the Bills.
he
Because
was. I mean, save my fantasy team. I got to come back win because of it.
yeah, I mean, I think the Panthers are actually screwed for
Are there
years.
any coaches? I mean, I don't know how many like of the available candidates that you think will be available. Do you think there's any specific candidates that the Panthers should look for, whether it's college, whether it's NFL? I know a lot of people have said that the Lions offense coordinator Ben Johnson has been he's been a hot
I think
name.
the Dolphins OC, because he's been able to get the best out of an Alabama quarterback, and obviously him and Tua are
Most
very
people say that
similar.
it's McDaniel, not the OC, but I guess it could
No,
go
but
both ways.
I
He'll
know
be a
they've
name
said
thrown
that
around, I'm sure.
our OC is someone that they could look at. Honestly, if not our OC, then maybe whoever coached Bryce in college. I don't, not Saban. I'm saying like maybe offensively
Right.
or
I think it was Bill
quarterback
O'Brien,
wise.
if I'm not
But
wrong.
Bill O'Brien, no, keep him away from that.
I think I'm sure Jim Harbaugh, a name like that, will get thrown around. They
I
could
don't
always
think
pick
anyone's gonna want that job though. That's the issue.
that. Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like you have a bad record now of firing coaches. You're bringing in the wrong people consistently. Greg Olson came out today and said he got offered a job, he'd be interested.
And he's
So
the
there's gonna be
Panther
names,
legend. So I mean
right?
that.
And there's gonna be names. I think
Yeah.
you might be best off hiring from within, frankly. If you can get like an interim, maybe if this guy works out, I think they missed on Steve Wilkes when he was the interim coach because
Mhm.
he had that team competing. But we'll see. It's really an interesting situation. It's hard not to root for Bryce Young, especially seeing what this team is doing to him. You kind of just want the guy to be able to salvage it all. So you hope for the best for the Panthers, and I guess we probably will get into it a little more when we talk draft. But staying in the NFC, I wanted to talk about the 49ers and the Seahawks because that was the ending of the Thanksgiving games last week. Pretty, highly anticipated matchup between two pretty good NFC teams. Seahawks have started to reel a little bit. They've kind of, regressed. And the Niners they're getting back healthy. Brock Purdy is finding another groove now with everyone back. And this team just looks like they're stepping up. I mean, 31-13, a complete dominant victory. As about as dominant as it gets, frankly. It was 31-13. Purdy goes off. He does his thing. Debo back. I mean, he was dominant. It was brutal. Ryan? What do you have to think of everything that went on that Thanksgiving game? Did the Niners cement themselves as the best team in the NFC?
So that game, I won't lie, I paid the least attention to. The other games,
It was a
they're
night game,
pretty good.
it's hard to.
The other games are pretty
Purdy
good.
goes for 209 and a touchdown. McCaffrey, 20 carries, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns. He went crazy.
Yeah.
Debo went for 80 yards. I mean,
And
but just
minus the
overall, I mean,
one
not even
dumb pick
specifically that
six,
game.
the
Going all
Seahawks
the way
did
back to
nothing.
the Jaguars game. I mean, this team, do you think they're the best in the NFC?
No, I still have to give that to the Eagles. Not that I don't hate the Eagles, but they've helped my team out, so I gotta show them some love.
Right,
The
yeah, we gotta show
Eagles are the
appreciation
luckiest
for
team in
being
the
the best.
NFL. They should have like 5 losses.
I mean, at a certain point, though, I mean, some of it is luck and some of it is just your team is just doing what has to be
And
done, even if it's not
my
pretty.
favorite part is Bills fans saying we've never seen a game more lopsided with flags than against the Eagles. But they were making fun of the Dolphins when we said that, and it was like 15-0. We didn't get a single flag,
Right, right.
for the other team, but the refs clearly do favor the Eagles.
I mean, it's a little bit refs. It's a little bit just like the Bills not making the plays when it counts. I mean, look, Gabe
I
Davis.
was very happy the Bills lost.
Yeah, look, Gabe
Oh,
Davis, clear miscommunication on that last round in overtime. He completely burns the
can you
defender.
imagine? Do you remember when Tua did it to Cedric Wilson?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Every media outlet posted that, did they not?
No, I mean, and trust me though, like, I mean, I know you might not pay attention to as much to like all the sports shows and everything in the morning, but like they were on him. I mean, they were Gabe Davis, Josh Allen, what is happening? Another miscommunication. But now the
As they
convo is
should.
kind of shifted to like the convo has shifted to are the Bills wasting Josh Allen, as opposed to like whatever else is going on there.
And also Diggs, they had on the bench for a bunch of the third downs. I mean, I know he's a diva,
Yeah.
but I don't know what the goal is with that. I mean, he's still your best player until he leaves,
Right, exactly. I mean,
until
at
he
the end of the
cries
day,
and goes to Dallas.
as far as the 49ers and the Eagles go, they do play this weekend, so we'll get to
I
see that
cannot wait for
matchup.
that 4:30 game.
That's gonna be a great
Could
game.
be the night game,
We
but
finally get some marquee matchups on the schedule. It's about time. But I mean, you
especially
can make
after
the
last
argument for
night's
both
Monday Night
teams.
Football game. Oh my gosh,
Yeah, that was horrible,
terrible.
and we'll talk about that a little bit. But I mean, man, it's hard not to
Snooze.
say I mean, the 49ers and the Eagles are clearly the top 1 and 2. I think you can say like the Cowboys are this tier, and then you'd probably go Lions, Seahawks, and then the rest.
The
But I mean, they're in
Lions still scare me, depending on what kind of team they are when they wake up.
yeah, but it's like the thing is, did they peak already? That's the conversation we're
Yeah,
gonna start having as the season goes on. 49ers are just in a league of their own. I mean, the defense since adding those additions at the trade deadline, Chase Young, signing Randy Gregory, things like that, and since Steve Wilkes, the new defensive coordinator that we were just talking about, since he's moved down to the field as opposed to up in the booth, the team has taken a whole other step forward. They dominated the Jags, dominated the Seahawks. I mean, they sent the Jags back to like not even contender territory. We were starting to talk like, is this team a contender? Are they for
yeah.
real? Play this
They went
49ers,
crazy.
and we're not talking about you again for another few weeks. So they look great. This weekend's going to say a lot. I'm going to err on the side of the 49ers just because of the way that they're winning as opposed to, the Eagles barely scraping by.
Yeah,
Even if it's
and
not right to
not
do that.
needing the tush push every play.
Exactly. I'm just
Like,
going to give them the edge for now. We'll see this weekend. If the Eagles come out there and they handle them, then I got to give it to the Eagles. But that's going to be a great game. I'm really looking
San
forward to that.
Francisco's a 3-point favorite on the road.
Yeah, they're
So they're
favored.
really a 6-point favorite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Jags, I just said they got dominated by the 49ers. They survive a close one on Sunday. Me and you were watching in the car on the way home from Gainesville. They beat the Texans 24-21. It was a really good game, honestly. CJ Stroud played amazing. Calvin Ridley played great. Travis Etienne, he got a heavy workload. As they just scraped by, Etienne got 20 carries for 56 yards, so the run game never quite able to get going. Tank Dell and Nico Collins both had great games for the Texans. Collins got 104 yards and a touchdown. Dell got a touchdown as well. I mean, who does this say more about, in your opinion? Does this say more about the Jags, their ability to kind of keep the other teams at bay, or is it the Texans saying how they're on the come up and they're for real? Who's to say more about it?
I mean, it's the Texans. The Jags had a home playoff game last year. Like, we know what this team is capable of.
Yeah.
It's the Texans who are a projected bottom feeder putting up and tying the series between the Jaguars at 1-1, but also putting
Both
up a
teams won on the
fight.
road, though, which is what you don't always see.
Yeah, and I mean, the Tank connection with CJ Stroud is legit. Like,
It's
it
there.
was,
I mean, look,
in the
almost
beginning
every
of the
team has
season,
one.
You think, oh, maybe a game or two, but this is
Yep.
consistently week after week after week. And Stroud doesn't look like a rookie. He looks
He looks
like a
poised in the
seasoned vet.
pocket. He take care of the football. He had the one abnormal game against I forget who did he throw this Cardinals, right?
It
Where he
was
threw
last week, wasn't it?
yeah. I'm trying to remember if it was the Cardinals.
Cardinals. Yeah, so they
Yeah,
still
okay.
won though.
Right, they won exactly, which is proving that they can, fight out the tough wins as well. But other than that, he's taking care of the ball. He's still getting the touchdowns. He's poised in the pocket. He's shown his mobility. He has done everything that this team has asked him to do. And he's making guys around him better. Like, I guess we can't really say that he's made Tank Dell like good because we don't know what he would have been without CJ. But he makes him look like he should have been a much higher pick. Nico Collins was not considered a weapon on any team before this year. Noah Brown was not considered a weapon. The only guy you can say that was like a legit weapon on another team before this year was Dalton Schultz, who came over
Yeah,
from the Cowboys,
and
and
he's
he's
I
been
felt
great.
like
He's been
regressed.
I think it's just the scheme. I mean, it's
Yeah,
really
no, it's the scheme, but for the biggest name player, he's
yeah,
not putting up
but
the
it's
top
also the
stats.
biggest name player like on a Texans team that we didn't think was going to have any names. So it's with a
No,
grain of salt.
and also, I'm not saying he's a bust yet, but they have John Michie, who was a second round pick last year, didn't play because he had the cancer diagnosis.
Right. So I kind of give
He's
the guy a
fresh
pass.
legs. They haven't really
Mhm.
used him a lot, which I understand because
Yeah, he's working his way in, and
but
it's just hard to get
that guy
acclimated.
was one of Bryce Young's best targets at Alabama. He's supposed to be like the next, the Waddle, the Devontaes, like
Well,
that
his game
run.
was different though. Mechie was that pure route runner, put him in the slot and let him get a quick slant like a Michael Thomas type. He was never like going to burn you regardless,
No, but
especially after
I
all
think he could have a great NFL career. And
yeah,
he's
he can definitely be serviceable. It's
yeah,
just about fitting into a new scheme
yeah.
with CJ Stroud and everything for them. But I mean, it's interesting. He's making guys around him better. They haven't been able to get the run game going. Singletary had one good game. Dameon Pierce has regressed a lot, so that's going to be something to monitor. They had injuries on the O line, but overall for me, while the Jaguars did still look, they look solid in a win. I'm not ready to call the Jaguars contenders just yet.
No.
And the Texans, they're in that frisky category. Like they can give anybody a game. Do I think they'll win in the playoffs? Probably not.
But
I think they
making it would
probably
be huge for
right,
their.
exactly. Making it would be an amazing success story for this year, and for CJ Stroud and
Now,
D'Amico
I do want to
Ryans.
say the Jags, I will put them on record, will finish with the 1 seed. They
You think
have the
so?
most cupcake schedule remaining. It's
Let's see.
insane.
I'll pull up this. Let's pull up their schedule.
I want you to count more than 2 losses on that schedule. If they play how they should.
All right. Well, if you look over here, we've got the schedule the rest of the year. I mean, you're right. It's definitely like Bengals with Joe Burrow could have been interesting. Probably not now. The Browns, I mean, they'll give anybody a fight, but I just don't think the offense can keep up. I think the Ravens do
That's a
beat them,
loss.
even though it's at
That's a
home.
loss. The Ravens win that one.
And then Bucks, Panthers, Titans. You're right. Like that is pretty cupcake the rest of the way. If we look at
That
other
might be a
teams,
5-loss team,
it could be. I mean, we look at the Ravens. They're also in competition for the 1 seed.
I think the Ravens win that game, though. I think that's the one where I can sit there and say 100% they lose that game.
Yeah, I mean, me too. If we look at the Ravens the rest of the way, they still have tough teams. They got Dolphins, Niners, Jaguars. Still has 3 tough games. Steelers, in division rivalry, we never count them out.
Yep.
So you got like 4 games. Even the Rams have been frisky, so they have a tough rest of the way.
Yeah, the Rams, you don't know what offense you're getting.
We know what the Dolphins have, and the Chiefs have a rough rest of the way too. So, really no guarantees. I agree. That's a really good take actually. The Jags should be favored to get the 1 seed, and
Which would be crazy
it
considering.
would, and it would be huge for them. Having the AFC run through Duval. But you know what? That honestly would put them. It would probably put them against the Dolphins. Realistically, talking in the second round, if we're talking about division winners,
They'd probably lose in the second round is what I'm.
they could. Yeah, I think that'll be a great game.
I hope we get them in the second round because, dude, the
That would be the
Dolphin
dream. I
fans
mean, we
would
would get
invade Jacksonville.
because think about it, the Dolphins in the first round would probably realistically be playing probably Pittsburgh. You gotta think is gonna be like the best non-division winner. I don't think Houston's gonna get enough wins to rival Pittsburgh just because they're hanging in there with everything.
I don't want to play Houston.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't either, even if it's at
Give
home.
me Pittsburgh. Give me Cleveland if they sneak in. Give me the Bengals
Right, like
if
it's
they
gonna
pull
be
a
between
miracle.
Buffalo and Cleveland for getting that last spot.
I do not want to play
Probably.
Buffalo, bro. Josh Allen only plays good against us. Like, please
Exactly. So it's like
keep
there's a
him
lot of
away.
interesting scenarios, but I don't think either way, if we're the last team in like division winner. It means we're playing the best
Sam, right
non-division
now the
winner.
Colts have the
Yeah, they're
tiebreaker
first.
for
Yeah, I
7.
mean,
They're
look,
in 7.
it's gonna be a really
Or
interesting
give me the
last.
Broncos again. Give me the
Yeah,
Broncos.
it's gonna be a really interesting last few weeks of the year. And I'm excited for it. But that's a really good Jaguars to the 1 seed take. And then, lastly, before we recap our pick 'em from the last time we met, I just want to talk a little bit about the draft. We were just talking a lot about Panthers and whatnot and what they could do. The Bears is kind of where I want to focus my attention. Bears and Patriots, these teams at the top of the draft. We saw last night that horrible, horrible Monday night game of the Bears and the Vikings. It was a field goal fest, basically the whole game. Uh, I mean, you look at Fields' performance. He's auditioning right now. He is just because of that Panthers pick and where it's going to be, and the potential of what Caleb Williams is. If they get the first pick in the draft, what is your opinion of what they should do with Fields and that pick?
Honestly, I think you can't pass up a Caleb Williams.
Right.
But
Even
I
though
don't
he,
think they
even
want to
though
give
he's
up
shown
on
some
Caleb.
red flags in the last few weeks of the college season.
Caleb Williams is generational. Like you don't pass up on that even if he lost a few games in college. But
It's not even the losing; it's also the inability to beat these good defenses, the leadership red flags, all that stuff that's coming, all the
Sam, what
extra, all
Anthony
the
Richardson do in
commercials
college?
and the divaness.
What Anthony Richardson do in college?
He
What
also,
Zach
hey,
Wilson do
all
in
I'm gonna
college?
say, Zach Wilson's fair, but look how he turned out in the NFL.
Yeah. He's a
Anthony
monster.
Richardson, you gotta at least give it to the man that he's playing much better defenses than Caleb Williams is playing in the Pac-12, so it better prepares you. And he had worse talent around him than Caleb Williams does now.
I mean,
Caleb
Josh
Williams has
Allen went to
the
Wyoming.
offensive mastermind.
Mahomes went to Texas Tech. You never know. It's
Yeah, I
honestly
mean,
you're
you're right.
throwing darts at a board. There's no such
Yeah.
thing as a guaranteed lock. But I don't think you should give up the potential of changing your franchise. But I think they should trade Fields for picks.
But what are you gonna get realistically for Fields? Because I feel like about now, he's only worth like a third round pick. Maybe someone gives you a second because they're desperate, like in Atlanta or
I think
something.
you have to take that. If you're drafting a Caleb Williams, you take what you can get and build
And
around.
remember, you do have another pick if you're the Bears. So, I mean, it doesn't even have to be drafting Caleb Williams. It could be trading one pick, getting a ton of picks, taking a QB at 4. I think that's where they're projected to be with their pick. Take a Bo Nix. Maybe you wait a little bit. Maybe you grab like a Michael Penix or someone later, and you just have a bunch of other O line and receiver talent around them.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of different options that I'm honestly not sure. I mean, I'm tempted to say stick with Fields one more year, trade the one pick. Imagine the boatload of assets you're going to get for that pick, and just build as
And
much as
you'll
you
have
can.
probably a top 5 pick this
Right,
year
that's the reason.
without even trading one.
Right, that's the reason I'm saying it is that you'll have a top 5 pick this year. You can get countless picks, and I'm sure another one of them will be first round pick this year. Draft a receiver in that top 5 pick. Grab either Brock Bowers, Marvin Harrison Jr., whoever's sitting there. Grab another lineman. Grab maybe a quarterback like like I just said, like a Michael Penix in the second round or something like that. Maybe a Jaden Daniels if you want to stick in the
Yeah.
Justin Fields archetype. And then just use these picks in the cap room to just keep building and really give him every last chance to show that he's capable. I just feel like, as appealing as Caleb Williams is, it kind of feels like you're just drafting a Caleb and then you're just restarting the cycle of young QB in a shaky situation.
Yeah. Also, I'm on PFF right now looking at like the draft
Yeah.
grades. They got Cameron Kitchens, the safety I love, at 24th overall. That'd be
Yeah.
right around the Dolphins' end of
That'd
first
be a
round
good
pick
pick. I
range.
mean, if you want to replace a Brandon Jones or a Deshaun Elliott
I think
alongside
Holland and
Holland.
Kitchens would be disgusting.
I feel like though the
We
Dolphins
need
are
a
gonna.
we need offensive line.
All right, I
Every
feel like they're gonna
offensive lineman's
prioritize the
gone.
O line, and if not O line, I feel like they'll grab another DB for depth before
Yeah.
they go safety. But it's not a bad
But I
pick.
can dream. I can dream.
Right. I mean, I don't think. Yeah, I think O line is probably where they're gonna.
And they have Penix at 25.
It's about right. He's like the Hendon Hooker of this year's draft.
Yeah. They got Keon at 21. They got Verse.
Keon is graded at 21, but every mock draft has him 15. Same thing with Verse.
Verse is 13, but he's going to go higher.
I think at 10 to the Falcons seems like where Verse
And
is
then
probably going to
Odunze
end
they
up.
have at 10.
Yeah, it seems about right.
I don't know how
Another
they have
team
Malik
that-
Neighbors over Rome, but
Yeah, just because he's. I don't even know why, actually.
I don't agree with that one, but
It's close. I mean, As far as like a team like the Patriots goes, they're projected to have the third pick in the draft right now. Where do you think they go? Do you think they just
I
draft a
think they have to
QB?
fire Belichick immediately.
Maybe. Maybe
He
he
set
leaves.
their
Maybe he
team
doesn't
back
even look
so
to get
much.
the chance.
It's like when like LeBron's the GM and like he does all those terrible things.
Yeah.
That's what Belichick's done. Like it
Do you
doesn't
think
work.
they should trade that pick, or do you think they should take someone and use like cap space around to build the rest of the roster out? Because even if they take a QB, remember they have Kendrick Bourne is your best receiver, and
Yeah.
mind you, he had a good year before the injury, but you have nobody there to help a young QB that you take in
I
the third
mean,
pick.
honestly, I hope they take Drake May because Drake May is a bust. And I would love to see the Patriots continue to suffer. They, I cannot stand the fact that their fans are complaining so much. You guys won 6 Super Bowls in a 20-year span. I haven't even seen a playoff win. And Belichick's a joke. So if Belichick stays, I want them to pick May. If Belichick leaves, I don't know what they'll do because I don't know who they're bringing in and all that. But at the
What do you think they
moment,
should do though? Do you think they should go QB, or do you think they should look to like maybe trade back a few spots and get like a Brock Bowers, something like that, or do you think they should trade like
oh,
all the way back
so
and just stock
so
up on picks?
so Will Grier can throw to Brock Bowers? Like, no, they need a quarterback.
Maybe it's like a quarterback in the second round instead of the first. Right now, by the way, just for you guys for reference, the top five is Chicago, via Carolina, Arizona, New England, Chicago, Washington.
Yeah, and
Those are the top
Arizona
five.
is
2 and 10.
Arizona too.
Arizona's two, and they're a tricky situation. They're the last team I want to talk about before we get to our pick 'em. Um, you have Kyler Murray. Dude's under an extension for a while. He's young. He got drafted,
Yeah,
quite literally 4 years
they
ago.
can't move on from him right now.
Right. So you're probably not moving on from him. So, in a team like that, you traded out last year, and as a result, I believe you do they have another pick? I think yeah, they do have two picks and in this year's draft. The second pick is because it's Houston, it obviously got a little worse than you were expecting it
Yeah,
to
it'll be
be
mid first.
before. But it's still a mid-round pick. Houston's slated at 17 right now, so it's still a valuable pick if you for some reason want to get rid of that top one. What do you think they do? Do they keep both picks and just draft two players? Do you think they maybe trade one of them, keep the
There's no
other?
way you keep Kyler Murray and not pick either Marvin Harrison or Brock Bowers in the
I
top
would say,
five.
yeah. I thought you were gonna say like a Rome or something. I was gonna say you have to take Brock before you take
No,
one of
in the
the other
top
guys.
five. If they were top 10, you pick Rome.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't. Yeah, yeah.
You don't pass up Brock Bowers if
No,
you're at two. I mean,
or
especially if like
Marvin Harrison if someone.
right, like oh yeah, assuming Caleb goes first.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you
you
go with the
take
receiver. You go with the
Yeah, I
receiver.
agree. And then like people say, "Oh, Brock's a tight end." Like it's crazy to take him that high. I mean, not only is he a tight end, he does everything. Like he
No,
is
I agree.
a
He's like awesome.
unicorn. He is insane. I mean, um, I want to see like where some other people like have like mock drafts going right now. Um, but like, man, if you're Arizona, if you're sitting there at two, I feel like you don't take a QB. I feel like you take Marvin Harrison Jr. if he's there, or you take I don't you take Brock.
And
The
Sam, I'm
only other
looking
thing,
around that like 20th like PFF ranking, and
right?
like you could get two receivers. So maybe you do
Most
Brock
people,
in the top
I'm seeing
five.
this mock draft have them taking Kalen King out of Penn State, the DB, get some help on the defense. I guess that makes sense if you want to go one O line, one D line. Dallas Turner, some people have being available that late. I mean, Keon Coleman going right before
Yeah,
that too.
Dallas
Bill
Turner, I
Jones
thought is
mock
going to go
draft.
like in the lottery.
Me too. I do have concerns about him as far as dirty players go. Your guy Rome is slated to the Colts right now. Him and AR, that would be a great duo.
And I mean, they have Downs, and that'd
Yeah, this is
be
an interesting draft. They have Jared Verse going 22nd to the Seahawks.
that Colts offense would be disgusting. AR, Jonathan Taylor, Josh
Josh
Downs,
Downs.
Rome.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, right now Brock Bowers is slated to go to the Commanders at 5. I would love that pairing. That would just make that offense that much better. Terry McLaurin, Brock Bowers, Jalen Dotson, and Curtis Samuel. That's a. I mean, laugh at that if you want. That is an offensive lineup with Sam Howell proving that he's at least capable. I mean, so yeah, so it's gonna be really interesting to see where it goes, and we'll talk about more about the draft obviously as the season wraps up and we get closer. But real quickly before we go, I just want to breeze through our pick'ems for. We'll recap last week, get to next week. As far as week 10, that was the last time we were here, and the last time we did pick'em. Ryan is leading the all-time matchup right now. As we honestly, it's crazy. We're starting to get pretty late into the season. But to go back and look at week 10. I took the Bears, you took the Panthers. I was right about that one. Bears won. Colts Patriots. The Colts did win. We both were right there. Texans Bengals. You were right. I was wrong on that one. Vikings Saints. Vikings took that one. You were right. I was wrong again. We both took Pittsburgh, and they did beat the Packers that week. As far as Bucks Titans go, I took Titans. You took Bucks. You were right again. Almost perfect streak for you so far. You took the 49ers, and I took the Jags. So I'm just having a rough, horrible week here. Both took the Ravens, and both lost to the Browns. Both took the Cardinals and barely escaped the Falcons. Both took the Lions and barely escaped the Chargers with a win. Both had Cowboys. No, never a doubt about that one. You had Washington. I had the Seahawks, so I barely come away with a win there. And we both had the Raiders here. We were right, and we both had the Broncos. Wow, and I cannot believe we both pulled off that Broncos pick in hindsight. That is crazy. That was Broncos Bills. So to tally it all up, overall you went 11 for 13 that week. I went I went 9. So I actually did kind of come back at the end, but it was not pretty. Or no, sorry, I went 8. It was not pretty. Yeah, I'm in 3 on at the end. Raiders money line as far as locks go. Um, we did pretty good. But let's just real quickly get to our pick'ems for this week. Week 12, I will pull it up on the screen so that you guys can see everything that we do. And let's get into this week 13 pick'em. We start with Seahawks and Cowboys on Thursday. Should be at least a decent Thursday night game. Ryan, who are you taking here? Me too. We both take the Cowboys. Uh, Colts Titans. I'm gonna take the Colts. Who do you have? Yeah, they're getting hot. Minshew's being very serviceable. They got a good supporting cast. Chargers Patriots. We both know where I'm going. I think I know where you're going too. Every time. Lions Saints. This could be a sneaky upset game. I'm gonna take the Lions, but I don't feel great about it the way that they're playing right now. Saints are always gonna be frisky. Right, exactly. Falcons Jets. I'm gonna take the Falcons. Are you gonna take the Tim Boyle Jets here? Cardinals Steelers honestly could be frisky too, but I'm gonna take the Steelers. You're taking the Steelers too, I'm assuming. Yeah, they're just throwing them up there. Dolphins Commanders. Of course, this is our team. We probably will rarely pick against them. Dolphins, Broncos, Texans. This is two hot teams. Yeah, here we go. This should be interesting. Broncos are hot, man. I'm gonna say that the Broncos come in and take this. It's gonna be close though. I don't think. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I probably 3.5 is a close game. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Broncos. You're gonna take the Texans, just honestly so we can differ for a few picks. Panthers Bucks. I'll take Bucks. I'm assuming you're taking them too. Browns Rams. I'm gonna say the Rams because they did not look good with DTR last week. Rams still have a decent cast around Stafford. Browns defense is always gonna be legit, but it can only take you so far. 49ers Eagles in easily the game of the week. Um, I'll take the Eagles so we differ there too. And I think I just don't know if the 49ers are ready for this big matchup. Chiefs Packers could honestly be frisky. Packers look pretty good. Packers might even cover the spread, but I will take the Chiefs to win. Exactly. Are you gonna take the Packers? You're gonna go out on that limb? And then Bengals Jaguars on Monday night. I'm gonna take the Jags. I'm assuming you'll take them too, even with Jake Browning. Just give me 3 locks. We won't even do the bonuses this week, but just for the sake of getting out of here, give me 3 quick locks. It's an Iowa type of line. Yeah, that's Iowa type beat. For me, I'm gonna go. I think Mac Jones is a starter. As long as he's a starter, I'm gonna go Mac Jones over 0.5 interceptions. I will take. So, all right. So, I'll do Chargers defense. Chargers defense. Someone on that defense is gonna get a pick, no matter who the QB is. Chargers defense over 0.5. I won't even say turnovers. I'll say interceptions. Honestly, I'm gonna take the Cowboys to cover the spread. I just don't think the Seahawks are ready for this. I think that we might have, gotten a little too high on them a little too quickly. I don't think they're ready for it. Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna say, um, Travis Kelsey. No, I can't bet against my own fantasy player. I'll make it quick. Then I'll just wrap this up. Texans Broncos under. I think these are two pretty solid defenses at the bare minimum. Russ isn't going to put up a lot of points, and I don't know what the Texans are going to do. I feel like we're looking at like another 22-20 kind of game, something like along those 24-21 maybe, which is right under what is that 47 and a half? Yeah. And with that being said, guys, we will wrap up here today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. As always, remember to like, subscribe, comment what you want to see more of. We should have a college football video to you soon. And in that, until next time.